Can you break down for us what exactly is this globalist plot to dominate the lives of everyday people?
Certainly. So the Controligarchs, as I call them, are the billionaires and bureaucrats plotting and scheming to dominate every aspect of your life. And the number one goal of the Controligarchs is to transfer power away from people, away from countries, and more towards international institutions controlled by them. So this is people like Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, George Soros, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. Those are the guys on the cover, but there's really, there's a lot more of them, unfortunately, who are working on this agenda to transfer power from nations to international institutions where they're unelected, they're unaccountable, controlled by the Controligarchs. So in chapter 1, and in all the chapters, I put an epigraph quote at the top from the character in the chapter. And David Rockefeller, who is really the one of the godfathers of globalism, he has this quote, and I'll paraphrase it, but more or less it says, some believe that my family and I are part of a cabal working against the interests of the United States to form a world government. If that is the charge, I stand guilty of it, and I am proud of it. Now, that's more or less verbatim. He uses the word cabal. He says one world, and he says he's guilty and proud of it. So David Rockefeller, George Soros is in this group. The late Henry Kissinger is in this group. And Henry Kissinger, he was Klaus Schwab's mentor before the World Economic Forum was set up. Klaus Schwab came to the United States. He's a German, born in Germany. But he came to the United States, studied under Kissinger, and they all have gotten together at various times, many times, whether it's in UN meetings or World Economic Forum meetings, and whether they smoke cigars in the back room, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's plenty of cigar smoking going on. But they get together and they plot out. And so you mentioned Agenda 21. They've rebranded that to Agenda 2030. But going back, I mean, it was the New World Order before that. Henry Kissinger and George Soros, they've all talked about setting up this new world order. That term became toxic. Agenda 21 sort of became toxic. And alongside these agendas that they form in the dark room where you and I aren't allowed, we don't have a seat at those tables, they had the Millennium Development Goals. And I know in your excellent documentary, you came across the new rebranded term is the Sustainable Development Goals. And food and agriculture is just one of many on this list of 17 areas that's what I talk about when I say they want to dominate every aspect of your life. Just look at the Sustainable Development Goals. There's food, there's health, there's information, there's financial, transportation, on and on and on down the list. Every single aspect by 2030, they've told us when their end goal is 2030, they want to have total control over every facet of your life.